Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. You join us at Vmax, and this is the first one that we're attending with our M5, which has recently had an RK Autowerks forged engine and hybrid turbos, and we've spent the last week or so tuning the car. If you haven't seen the build videos, we'll put them up here so you can check them out. So with this is the sighting lap. I'm on pump fuel, so I just wanted to see quickly what I'll do on pump fuel and see what my braking distances are like, and then we'll switch over to race fuel and change the tune accordingly and see how much extra mile an hour we can get. It's a bit of a side wind today, so it's going to be interesting to see how the car is affected at high speeds. So as this is a sighting lap, it's basically one car at a time, and then when everyone's been once, they'll start letting the cars go out together. So we've got the M5 and the M3 here. I'll run the M5 now and then jump in the M3 and do some runs in that with the upgraded Mosselman high flow turbos. So I'm just waiting for my turn to go now. Shouldn't be too long. So if you didn't see the video already, we made 878 wheel horsepower on a dyno jet on pump fuel, and we made 908 wheel horsepower on race fuel. There was a bit more to go on the race fuel, but we just kept it slightly conservative. We want to get through this event, do some data logs, and see what improvements we can make. So I think we are getting ready to go now. So yeah, that's the first time I've launched it, so there is a bit of issues with traction. There's some wind noise coming out of the right hand side of the car that I've not heard before, so I'm gonna get that checked out when I go back. It's definitely not that noisy usually. I'm not sure Draggy got the top speed at least anyway, so let's have a look if it's picked anything up. I'm still waiting for it to reset itself. I think I need to get an iPhone just to use this app. Yeah, it's frozen. But anyway, car felt fairly good on a sighting lap. I broke pretty easily. Hit 200 on the dash well before the line, so not really going to know what top speed I hit until I've gone all the way around. Okay, well we'll look at the times later because Draggy's playing up. So I'm going to jump into the M3 now, so I'll join you in the M5 in a bit. Okay, so I'm just lining up to do the first run in the M3 up against an M4 of some description. My tyres are going to be cold, so I'm going to take it a little bit easy, it says. I have to go now. I'm not sure what he was running, but it's like I would hit that limiter well before the line. The headwind is so strong. I think it's like 31 kilometers an hour today. So I don't think any records are going to get broken today. Not even going to be able to check the Vmax on this car. But we need a bit more fuel, so we'll get some more in and go around. You can see how much it struggled off the line there. For our second run in the M5, yeah, that noise was the under tray had partially come off, so it would have been trapping a lot of air there. So Aston has fixed that now, so hopefully it will do a little bit faster. So we just hit 200 on their traps. Once it comes loose, that's it. I think we'll have to try and take it off and see what difference that makes. That's definitely going to make a difference to the top speed. Should we see if the drag is behaving itself? We are just lining up for our third run in the M5 now, so there was still a bit of trim loose on the rear, so we had to take it off completely. So not sure what effect it's going to have. See if I can borrow a customer's rear tray, because that's not doing us any favour. I can hear that wind noise straight away. It's just catching on the bumper now. Not as we planned, but it's all a learning process. Just means that everyone has to make sure that all the under trays are as they should be and not damaged or anything like that, because obviously it makes a big difference at an event like this. Let's head back. And guess what? Draggy's let me down again. This is a POS if I ever saw one.
Hey guys, we've had a lot of you ask questions about why we run what we run in our Stage 3 builds and why it's necessary. So first and foremost, you can see we've got a variety of parts scattered out here. We'll go through and explain what each one is and why we use it. But to answer the question everyone seems to have online, why is it necessary? It's necessary because the stock engine as much power as it can make in a stock block configuration, it's really advised to go with a forged setup because it opens up so much potential power you can have. You can make power on the stock rods, but it's not advised. Here you'll see there's a stock rod compared to the Carrillo rod, and you can see how much of a difference it is. So these are the rods, and they'll bend. Some will bend, some won't bend, but it's really rolling the dice whether you get the lucky rods or not. So these are the rods we run. You get these in 2 configurations. They have the rod bolts upgrades, so you can get the car bolts or the WMC. So we'll start on the left and explain each part for you guys. This is a stock crankshaft that we've balanced. You can see here there are certain marks on here for where the balancing was done. We micro polish these cranks, meaning we make this portion of the crank where the bearings ride on really smooth, so it has a nice film for the oil. Here you'll see the forged rods. They're H-beam setup. We like to use these because we've used these for the past 10 years on the S62, which is where we started, and we've had great luck running these rods. We've got asymmetric or symmetric pistons with coated skirts with the rings that are set up for our configuration on this. We run our own ring spec, and then you'll see you can get these with the coated crown. Sometimes some guys like it, some guys don't. Pins, you can get optional pins as well. These are the HD pins. You'll see they have a different stamping on them. Visually they look the same, but once again, another option that you can have with it. So this is another weak point of the setup, the rod bearings. We get a lot of engines where they have rod bearings go bad, and a lot of that's accumulated to the owners not changing oil soon enough, to not letting the oil get up to temperature, or the oil viscosity being too thin. We advise running thicker oil on all of our setups because we're not trying to get fuel economy out of it, we're trying to get power. So we advise anywhere from 15W50, 10W60, 10W50, a thicker oil depending on your climate is what we advise. These bearings also come with a coating on them to further enhance the longevity of the product. So we're trying to stack all the decks in our favor to get this to work for us. Along with this, which you won't be able to see, is we increase the clearances. This allows the bearing to have more oil in between so that it doesn't have as much contact on metal to metal. And then moving on, we've got the turbos here. This is a stock setup, and you can see compared to our 3076, which is our standard norm, which most of you would call a stage 3 turbo, this is technically a hybrid. You can see how much different it is between the two. These turbos are good for about 24 to 26 PSI. The primary difference that you can't see inside the turbos is that these are general bearing and these are ball bearing. These are never designed to spin as fast as some of you have them going, but that's why you see the failure rate that you do, whereas these will not fail on you because they were designed to do that. So what we do with these is we take this housing, these two housings right here, we machine them out. So here's the compressor side. You can see how much of it has been poured out compared to each other, and then you can see that as well on the turbine side. So this is the most you can get out of the stock turbine housing, which is the limitation on our turbos right now. What's nice about that is we have a stage 2 setup coming out, which will replace these two pieces for you guys with the 3076 cartridges, 3071 or even 3576, and it'll allow you to get another 2 to 4 PSI out of just this same turbo, which is now limited because of the turbine housing. So stay tuned for that. We'll get more info on that. And then the last piece of our stage 3 kits, the methanol system. We have these adapters that we've developed on, and then we machine these in-house. You'll see they have 4 meth ports on them, O-ring groove on the bottom. They bolt on to the stock throttle bodies. The snow performance gauge, we like to run this gauge because it shows you all the time whether your meth is running, whether it's low, your boost pressure, if there's some issue with it. It's a good, just check real quick to see if everything's working. And then that's our basic stage 3 kit. Like we said, we have a bunch of different options that you can get. CNC heads, you can sleeve the block, valve train, and there's other rod piston configurations, but this would be our basic stage 3 kit in a sense. And then that should get you to around 1200 to 15 horsepower on stock block. Many of you ask why we don't sleeve the block. It's not necessary with the way the stock block is set up, but you can do that if you desire. We offer that as an option. The sleeving changes the pistons. It keeps everything else the same. It just allows you to be more aggressive with it. It's got better detonation properties. The cylinder walls aren't aluminum anymore. They end up being steel. So just a quick rundown of our stage 3 kit and some of the things that we offer. Let us know and give us a follow.
So we're in our second run in the M3 up against an Aston. There after a really bad start. I don't know why I tried to hook it in second, but anyway, it's all good. I'll probably go around and do another one in this, see how far we can get against the other M3s and M4s here. So I think the highest is 194 by somebody. Oh man, I thought to log it. Okay, I'll have to go around and do another one anyway just to get log. Doing another run in M3. I've got the data logging running this time so we can check what it's doing. Draggy's being very temperamental today, so I won't bother with that. Let's stick an MDM manual, and we're up against F90 M5. I have no idea if it's tuned or what, but see what happens. Seatbelt on, it's a bit naughty. That was a bit weird. It felt like there was a bit of clutch slip or something when the gears were changing, which I haven't felt before. We are pushing the power on a little bit now, so be interesting to take a look at the logs and see what that was about. Logs were looking good on the pump fuel map on race fuel, so we could push it a little bit further. And I'm up against Gurdeep, who is our customer running our stage 2. He's doing pretty well today compared to the other stage 2s. I think he's probably the other fast F90. Sorry mum, that was completely unintentional. We're doing our last run on pump fuel map on this car, and then hopefully the diffuser issue is sorted. We're up against an M3 of some kind. Well, it doesn't hook up till third properly, it's insane. able to brake down from that speed fairly easily. Just stop this. They did feel better. Still getting a bit of noise from here, but I don't know if that thing was flapping around. It didn't seem as loud. .202 again, so yeah, we're not getting any better, so we'll switch over the maps now. Helmet cam's not working for some reason. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear me, but we just did a 205. So 3 mile an hour improvement so far with the race gas. We're running out of time now, it's 3:14. So camera's failed, so you're gonna have to see my face for the last one, which is probably going to be the last run. We've hit 206, so at the moment we are the fastest BMW again, so comparatively we're doing well. The other cars that are out here are powerful, but everyone's really down, so realistically all you can do is compare it against what you've got against you and not what you've done before, because the conditions change so much. The headwind is not a joke whatsoever. Just waiting for this guy. Oh, is that it?
Something fell off the last car. Get it off the runway.
Hopefully we get one more run. We're ready for it anyway. So that wraps up another Vmax. This is the third one of the year, and I'm really happy to say that we again were the fastest BMW at Vmax. So that's 3 Vmaxes in a row that we've done that. With 1 Vmax left, it's possible that we can make it 4 and be the fastest BMW at every single Vmax this year. But let's see what happens on the 4th one. So the car itself did 206, the M5. And I know what you guys are thinking, oh, hang on a minute, why is it not doing more than 209 we did last time? Because there was a huge headwind. I think it was around 31 miles an hour, and you can actually check that on Met Office, and it was in the direction that we were running. Last time we went out, there was a tailwind of around 15 miles an hour, so that is what's making the difference. If you want to check previous Vmax results from the last 2, you have a look at what the stock 720Ss were doing and what they were doing at this Vmax, and that will give you the differential. So even in its current state of tune, which is fairly conservative, if you saw the dyno video, you'll see that we didn't want to push it too hard because we wanted to complete a Vmax, get some data logs, and then push it a little bit harder. It's still done pretty well in those conditions, and at the end of the day, it was the fastest BMW there, and there was a lot of BMW there. There was loads of F90s and there was loads of F10s, and they weren't standard. So you know, that proves that it was the fastest of the day, and for me that's enough. I can't really do more than that. The M3 was running the higher flow Mosselman Turbo. We did set it up the day before, but we had clutch slip. As you can probably see from the video, you can hear it when it's changing gears, so it means a new clutch before we can go any further with that. We'll fit a set of SSP clutch packs like we did on our F10 M5, and then we can continue tuning it, and hopefully that will be ready for Vmax in October. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the results. I want to give out a shout to Tom Wrigley and his guys. They managed an incredible 205 in their M240i, which is an incredible feat. That car was really moving, and we just literally pipped them to the post and took the win on this one. No M3s or M4s hit 200 miles an hour this time. I mean, I couldn't even hit the limiter in this. That's how bad the conditions were, considering I was hitting a limiter every single time in the previous Vmax, and this car now has more power. It just goes to show you what that headwind was doing. But anyway, we've got more time now to build this up further, spend more time on doing the tune, and again on this one, as I mentioned, to do the clutch and then come back stronger for the October Vmax. So we will see you then. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you'd like to watch more of this project, you can do so over here. If you'd like to watch what YouTube suggests you might like from our other videos, you can watch that over here. If you like this video, please click on the thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. If you guys have any questions, please drop them in the comment section and we'll do our best to answer them for you.